Hello everyone. As most of us know, Six Flags and their rival Cedar Fair have merged back in July of 2024. And with this merger brings a lot of things, including a reconstruction of the Six Flags parks, including my home park and the major focus of this video, Six Flags Great America. I thought it would be fun to list 5 things that I'd like to see added or improved upon with this merger. Just a quick disclaimer before we start. Most of these ideas will be realistic. There will be some things on here that will be like pipe dream ideas, but there's nothing that's going to be like, I want Great America to build a Giga Coaster or something like that. Also, these are all just my thoughts at the moment. If you have any more better thoughts or anything that I missed, please mention down in the comments. I'm willing to start a discussion about this stuff because it interests me. Alright, let's get started. First thing on my list, while the average guest might not care about this, or most coaster enthusiasts will groan about it, I think theming should be a major focus again. Theming, in my opinion, really helps shape a park a lot, giving it a level of quality, attention, and especially a lot of character. Something that a lot of these Six Flags parks have been losing over the last 2 decades, and Great America is no exception. What once started out as a theme park that was just a giant homage to Americana and basically a Disneyland close to home, now is just an amusement park that, despite having a lot of good roller coasters, is really just not that great appearance wise. And as someone who has read and seen a lot what Marriott and kind of the early days of how Six Flags used to run Great America, it's kind of sad knowing that what could have been with the park when it comes to theming. Now, I'm not asking them to, do like complete immersiveness like what Disney Universal do, but for me, I just want like a little bit more attention and care into what goes in, making it all cohesive, which is what they're trying to do right now with the other parks. And I hope that really comes to Great America because I feel like Great America could really benefit from that. Hopefully in the future, Great America puts more thought into what they try to add or what they try to redeem into an area, as I think making everything more cohesive adds a sense of quality and thought into what they add. Without that, it just kind of feels like they don't care about where they add something into, and you end up getting things like Superman in New Orleans, which we shall not mention any further. Sticking in the theme department, I also hope that the original theme music comes back. As most longtime guests or in-depth Great America fans know, the park used to play more atmospheric music that corresponded to each area, but they eventually ditched it in later years for pop music. You can hear me playing some of the Orleans Place music in the background right now, and you can hear the rest of the tracks on another video that I posted a while back. I really don't like the pop music that they play inside the park because a lot of the song choices are either really repetitive or really annoying, and for me, it just kills the vibes for the themed areas. I don't mind if it plays in the front gate and just the front gate because I know back in the day that used to be just the place to play pop music and all that stuff or whatever was trending alongside patriotic music. But the rest of the park needs to get its original theme music back. I'm glad that they restored the Carousel Plaza music last year, but I hope that goes for the rest of the lands too, because this stuff is really good, and I really want it to be heard in the park again. And it's another thing to add to the overall positive experience and guest experience as well, as you feel a little bit more immersed in these lands with the corresponding music in the background instead of listening to SpongeBob constantly shouting, I'm ready, or something like that. Another thing, too, I'd like Great America to do is restore a lot of the sound effects on the rides. We already saw this last season with Batman the Ride getting a lot of its original effects back. But there's still a few other rides that don't have their effects back yet, such as X Flags Water Jets, the sound effects on Giant Drop, and Demon's Fog. And while it's not a sound effect or something like that, I want Demon's Rock Structures to come back. So, Great America, please get on that, get all of that repaired or restored. Whatever you can do, please. It enhances the experience. Alright, let's talk coasters. Great America has a lot of coasters, but the one that most people talk about for being the most outdated is American Eagle, their classic dueling wooden roller coaster, which by the way just got landmark status. Congratulations to it.
Or at least it used to duel. Now it doesn't at all, and most guests have noticed that it's in a very, very bad shape.
Heck, most guests can't even get the lap bars out on their own anymore. The poor ride operators have to push down like a button like twice or three times, or like you gotta do something just to force the lap bars up so people can get out. That's how bad American Eagle is right now.
And I witness this often, both on the blue and red trains. It's just a very sad shape to see American Eagle like this.
I know on that list that came out for additions for 2026 for the Six Flags parks that Great America was supposed to get improvements, and I hope that American Eagle is one of those quote unquote improvements because it really needs it.
And I'm also hoping that landmark status gives them the push to look at American Eagle and be like, okay, this needs like a total refurbishment, total retrack, whatever they can do to get it running to full glory. Also, before people comment about RMC American Eagle, no, that's not happening. And either way, I don't want it to happen because I think classic wooden coasters should stick around. And American Eagle, I think it's fun on its own. I don't think it needs RMC treatment. And besides, we already have Goliath. Do we really need a second RMC? Okay, I know this is a weird point to bring up, but hear me out on this. If you go to Six Flags often enough, more than likely you do know that the Looney Tunes are the main mascots of the park. They've been there since the beginning, since the park opened in 1976, way even before Six Flags even owned the park. Heck, they were even one of the things that motivated Six Flags to buy the park in general.
However, I feel like their presence has dwindled over the years. It's gotten to the point where most people don't know that they exist, or the people that do know that they exist can't really find them in the park sometimes. This is made worse by the fact that we no longer have a Looney Tunes land, and we're currently the only legacy Six Flags park without a Looney Tunes land. With the 50th that's going on in 2026, I do hope that not only the park gives more spotlight to the characters, as unlike most other Six Flags parks, they originated here. So it's only fair to have more events and more merchandise surrounded around them here. And also going back to that investors list that they put out on their website, I do hope that when they mean by new kids area, I hope they mean by giving the Looney Tunes their own area again. I know some people are thinking it's going to be probably Peanuts or something like that, but no, I fully see it being Looney Tunes. And I honestly hope it is fully Looney Tunes because out of any park, they really do deserve it here at Great America. Especially considering that both kids areas here right now are terrible and are in desperate need of either retheming or just removal altogether. I'm actually not opposed to the idea of having multiple small kids areas at Great America. It's a small park, and I know that there's not going to be a lot of room to like create one giant kids area unless it comes at the sacrifice of the entirety of Yukon territory. With the Looney Tunes being such a big and vast property, I could still see them having two separate kids areas, having one themed around the forest cartoons that you see in the Bugs Bunny shorts, like Rabbit Fire. And then using the one that's in Kidsopolis to retheme it to like a Foghorn Leghorn area to tie in with the whole Midwestern vibe that the county fair is trying to go for. That's just my way of making everything more cohesive while implementing the Looney Tunes and not making them feel very out of place. But like I said before, the Looney Tunes is such a very vast property, and I think it would be so interesting if they tried to inject the property into the area without, making it look very out of place or dumb. So yeah, make Great America more loony again. Alright, my last thing to improve Great America is honestly not really something that the park can do themselves, rather something that they'll have to consult with either Metra or Pace, but it's better public transportation access. Currently, Six Flags is all the way up in Gurnee, which for those of you unfamiliar with the geography here, it is about 45 minutes away from Chicago and I think about an hour away from Milwaukee. And from Chicago, the official way to get to Great America, according to their website and Metro's website, is to take the Union Pacific North Line all the way up to Waukegan and then a bus to Gurnee. Sounds simple, right? Well, the problem with that is that that entire commute, if you're starting from Chicago, is 2 hours and 30 minutes. Long time. What makes this even more stranger is that there's another metro line that takes you much more closer to the park. Now you might be asking, well, why can I not take that line instead of the Union Pacific? Well, this one has two issues. One, the train line doesn't actually get really close to the park. Instead, it makes a turn on another branch line 5 miles away from the park itself. Okay, you may be asking, I'll get off at the nearest station and take a bus up to the park. Well, you're out of luck. Unless you're willing to go around the loop that takes about an hour and 6 minutes, your only option to get to the park from that station is a $20 lift. Which really sucks because I feel like there should be a bus that takes you from that station to the park. Or the train gets you more closer to the park because the train line runs very near to the park if it doesn't drift off the branch line. Really, there's two options that can be done to solve this public transit issue. Either have the metro run all the way up to Gurnee on that main line, at a stop there, and then people can take the Pace bus to the park. Or from the current metro station, there could be a shuttle bus that takes guests and employees too to and from the park itself. I think the second option is the much more easier one to implement because there's not much that needs to be done. It's just provide the buses, add one stop in between the park itself and the station to have employees get off, and then boom, easy public transit access. Again, this is a Metro or Pace thing. Six Flags cannot really do much besides say yes if they approach Six Flags, or Six Flags can go out of their way and ask Metro Pace for a connection. And this isn't a foreign concept on Pace's end, because Pace used to have a Six Flags Express bus that used to run all the way to the park from the Rosemont station right outside the airport. So they have experience in getting buses into the park. But yeah, better public transportation access is really needed because I think that will benefit a lot of people. Because having it there, a lot of people can take the train and then take the bus up to the park and they wouldn't have to pay for parking or drive all the way up to the park. And the same thing also goes for employees, on top of also having much more jobs created by having that bus implemented instead of paying $20 for Lyft there and back. And with that, those are the 5 things I want Great America to add or improve upon. I know some of these might seem a little nitpicky or just like you might be asking, why would they do this? But trust me, I think some of these things are kind of beneficial when you think about it on a more deeper level. Especially the public transit one because god, paying $20 to get up to the park is such a pain in the ass. But what would you guys think? Leave your comments down below. What would you improve upon? Or if you agree or disagree with the things I mentioned in this video. I'm going to see what other content I can make on this channel. This is my first video doing a speaking video like this. So I'm not that professional yet. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be back with another video very soon. Have a good day.